There they are,
Yep.
with the player with the rack, or rather the bag behind his head. Excuse me. Now, we had incorrectly had them losing their earlier match. They actually won. They're going to be taking on a team called In It to Win It. We're going to see them for the first time right now. There
and
they
I
are.
believe this is a team of brothers that I'm seeing Basil and Christopher.
In the meantime, we've got the scores reversed once again. The Cyclones have gone first and played Bearer, B-E-R-E-R. Again,
Leaving an O.
strategically placing those R's underneath the double, but more importantly, hitting that B on the double letter, so they get extra points for that. The first play of the game always goes through the star in the middle of the board. That is a double word score.
Looks like a bingo is being played by the looks of that hand at the bottom of the screen.
And it is boasted.
Nice play.
Well, I'm assuming that blank is an E, boasted.
I think so, yeah.
So both B's gone in the first two plays of the game in less than 30 seconds for either team to make their play.
Interesting choice to play boasted there as opposed to just with bearers.
And we think these are our top two teams?
They're certainly among the top two teams.
Well, they may
so
be
this is a pivotal
Yeah,
game
this may be
sure.
this may be for first place in the championship division heading into day 2. We'll have 2 games tomorrow before the championship game and keep you up to date on what's going on. Of course, if you're following us on HasbroGamingChampionships.com, you'll be able to see the entire leaderboard, the entire scores for all of the competitors before the end of the night. So some fast play getting us started here in round 6. Bearer for the Cyclones and In It. Oh, it's In It Twin It.
Yeah, I see
they
the pun.
twins?
They must be twins. Very clever.
Ah.
Clever. Wordplay.
That is one thing, actually, we'll see
Leave
quite
it
a bit
to
of.
Scrabble players.
We'll see
to
a
get
lot
the
of
wordplay. Yeah.
So
now they've got a 7 of 4-mate.
But they don't have a place to play it.
Well, they had a
Did
couple
they have a
interesting
place?
places. Yeah, maybe. I mean, these are very difficult words. They could have played 4-mast through the S of boasted. But failing that, I like the play of fem. Scores a lot of points there to the triple word score.
Yeah, the F and the M become tripled. The F, you get more points because it goes in the different direction.
Right.
So fem is on the board, and the Cyclones trying to eat into that early lead that In It Twin It did, gained with that quick bingo to start off their game.
Very quick.
V-O-L-E, I'm assuming?
I'm
Or
thinking
maybe
probably
T?
volt. Yeah, probably volt.
Well, we do see V-O-L. We just don't see what that last...
Maybe just that. Let's see.
Well, that's not a word, is it?
I don't believe so. Let's see if they've tacked the T on.
Yeah, they did. So volt, okay.
They had no reason not to.
Right.
So.
And volt actually takes a number of letters after it.
One of which they have, an I.
Not just the S, but an A. Do you know what volta is? I do.
Isn't it
It's a dance move.
Yeah, okay.
It's a dance move.
You didn't give me a
Oh, but
chance.
look at this. Oh, I'm sorry. One of the classic Scrabble plays that can
we haven't seen that yet.
that can just infuriate you. With that A in boasted was hanging underneath the triple letter score. They grabbed the Z and popped it right on top. So 60 points just for the Z. Grab some points for those A's and the S as well.
Who doesn't love a slice of za? We all do.
Yep.
Wow. This is action coming
Yeah,
quickly here.
they're going quickly and scoring a ton of points. We'll try and keep up with it, as it's not going to slow down anymore because I'm looking at an X for the Cyclones, and they're going to grab some points for that probably.
I think so.
So
yeah. So here's the trick with the X. I think we just saw Yip hit the board. There's a nice place to put that X, making, once again, we've seen it a number of times, that Greek letter, XI. If they have to know, though, that the word that they've played, the valid word of yas, Y-A-S, you can put an E in front of that. AS, that's a different word, a completely different word. If they happen to know it, it's an untrained hawk. Can't say I knew that. I just looked it up.
Untrained hawks just hanging around all the time.
But if they do know that word, they've got a number of really nice plays that play up there, probably chief among them being Cortex. But
you see YAS, a lot of letters go ahead of that, right? R,
P, E.
Yeah. So my guess is they don't know that word
Yeah,
because
okay, that's okay.
they
Torque is, you know what? If you don't know that word, this is a perfectly reasonable play. I like
and
the
again,
play.
you're playing from behind, so opening up that triple word, not too dangerous because you were able to get a double-double on the C, and it looks like we may have a challenge here. As we see a bunch of hands in the air, either someone needs to go to the bathroom or they're going to be challenging one of the words.
Pretty
Now
sure it's the challenge.
Now, there are Scrabble rules for using the bathroom.
There are? I thought you
Yeah.
just go and your clock keeps running.
Your clock goes, but you have to leave like your cell phone on the table. And all
Got
kinds
it.
of stuff
Yes,
like that.
of course. Got to be above
So,
board with
yeah,
it.
Yeah, and your clock does continue to run.
Yeah, but I'm sure that's not what's happening here. I think
No,
it's
it looks
probably
like
just
they're
a
going to be
regular old
challenging.
challenge, and
TORC is in. Is it?
that is a valid word
It
for
is a
sure,
valid word.
and it's going to stay. So nice play by the Cyclones. They get a free turn out of it, and maybe.
And that could be huge because they're playing from behind. The
Yeah.
other team bingo. The other team put that Z in a premium spot. So this could be that opening in the door that they need to really take advantage
Sure.
of things in the future.
And you can see they have ERX as their leftover letters. At
Pretty
the
good.
very least, if they see it, we can see that they might extend bow on the board, as in bow staff. They could play boxer there. They can just put that XER there. That scores a decent
If they grab
point.
another E, they can put exec now. On,
Exactly. Oh, that would be
or
much-
exact if they really get
Exec
lucky.
would be way better if they get that
Yeah.
E, and you know what? There's 8 of them, so I like their chances.
Well, they
Oh.
may have picked up a blank.
Let's
We don't
see.
know. Sometimes the computer takes a second to just kind of click in exactly
Oh,
what they
wow.
have. So rexing, is there anything that goes with rexing when a blank? Prexing or anything like that? Or?
I bet they have some interesting thing through EL on the board, maybe. If they have some kind of long, like relaxing or something. I don't know, it doesn't quite fit.
Relaxing, no, they don't need that E. They've got an extra E of their own. They needed the A.
Selling. Either way, this is a good position for them
Sure,
to be
because they're
in.
probably, I would think, going to play off the X maybe.
Oh yeah,
and
they
then,
can.
And then if they go boxer, as we mentioned, and have ing blank.
I
not
think,
that.
well, now boxing is better than boxer.
Boxing, and then you have ER blank, which
let's
is
see if they think
probably,
of
if you
it.
had to choose 3 letters, maybe
ER
ES
blank,
blank,
SR blank,
yeah,
something like that. They're in a
ERS
good-
blank would be a gold
yeah,
mine.
good shape
So-
for sure.
Really, just early in the game, lots of opportunities for scoring for both teams, and we're going to see how they play it. Looking up above to Init Twinit's.
So there has already, I can detect that the score for Torque, I think, was added to Init to Win It score. I think we want to put the score for Torque onto the Cyclones, and then the Cyclones are going again. So I'm
All right,
showing.
so the Cyclones scored with Torque, and now they have a chance to go again because of the invalid challenge of that word. So the
Okay.
Cyclones,
I don't
with an
think that's-
opportunity to really climb back in this thing, they're not out of it by any means at any point, but really quickly
Look
they
at
could.
that. You see XING. They've arranged it so they've spotted
All
the
right.
possibility of boxing, I think.
And now they're looking at.
I think they're probably taking their time and they want to see if they can find anything longer, but
They're going to
that
go
is
boxing.
absolutely a great play. There's nothing better available.
And when you hit ERS, now normally I don't like to look, I like to focus on the team that's playing, but let's just take a look at what the Cyclones get on their rack. They had ER blank, very, very powerful lead.
U,
They pick up an
S.
S. U doesn't hurt you too much because you got that blank. Let's see what else they got.
A.
A, now they're in trouble, and a W.
Oh, the
Walruses?
W.
Walruses?
Sure, walruses. There's a couple, unswears,
All right,
wafters.
all right.
There are things, but
Well, we'll
even-
get there.
Yeah, even if they don't hit a bingo, they're very close now. I think they're no more than 2 turns away, barring terrible draws. So, nice pickup.
Now
for
you
them.
see, Unjust has been left on their rack as we try and get in their heads as they move things
I
around.
don't think that's actually
Unjust,
word,
of course,
yeah,
is. I don't
but-
think unjust is, but there's no real place for it unless they want to try boxings. The boxings wouldn't.
It
take
is good.
Boxing's-
Boxing's is
oh,
good.
really?
Yeah, I can
Now
say
that's
that
interesting.
it is. I remember that to be good.
So just to play just JUST with under boxings may not be such a bad play
A bit of a risk, though, to try a plural of an ing word that you're not
if they know.
absolutely
if they
sure
know.
of. They're
Do you,
putting
do
their
you know?
letters.
Do you know
close
why it would take an
by.
S?
just because a lot of the sports
Because
and
it's a
activities.
gerund, for those of you who
Oh,
are
okay.
grammatical.
Gerund, yes.
Gerund would take
Well,
an
the
S.
fig, interesting.
Fig. Okay, so they block that play,
Right.
which is interesting. They maintain the NJUST. We'll see how that works out for them as Fig hits the board.
Keeping
and
the
Cyclones
J, they may be hoping to do a bit better with the J on their next turn.
certainly could have played just simply Jig instead of Fig,
Jug.
but we'll find out how that works out for them. There are some bingos, as you mentioned, unswear.
But so unswear would have gone through the N of boxing, and that's no longer available. And I think.
What about that M? Anything that can happen with the M in Fem?
Have to look. Nothing is springing to mind. Yeah, in this situation, I'm thinking I'm wanting to get rid of my U and W. Those are two letters that are least
And while-
conducive to bingoing.
Well, it's not likely if you lost an A or E along the way, it wouldn't be so bad.
Exactly.
But the U and the W are really the toughies that you got to get rid of. I don't see where they're going to be able to play them though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll just have to see what they opt to do.
So interesting to see the difference in how the board develops. Remember a couple games ago, it was three-letter word,
Oh,
three-letter
yeah.
word, three-letter word, jamming everything up to the middle.
Right.
Here, started with bear, six-letter word. Next, boasted, seven-letter
And
word.
it's wide open
Boxing,
there.
six-letter word. It just completely opens up the board
Sure.
and totally changes the dynamic of how the game is played.
I'm just searching for bingos here. And
Here they're
not-
just trying to drop, looks like they've decided to drop the W, at least that's what the player has in his hand there. Now, this is interesting. Here we get into a dictionary issue.
Right. This is normally a solid play.
Except in the school Scrabble, we play with the official Scrabble Players Dictionary.
Yeah,
And
so-
WOP is not a valid word in that dictionary. Now, I don't know if these kids play at other tournaments, which use a more open dictionary that contains a lot more words. In this case, it looks like they're going to let it go.
Yeah. Tough to find fault with that. Those are normally words that are playable, not playable in our scholastic competition. But
Well, look what happened. I said we were talking about getting rid of the W and the U, and I said if they lost the E along
Yeah.
and another R.
that's tough. There are words in there, but all of them are going to be very, very difficult finds. And so we'll see what they come up with. So after that play, they
We're going to update
scored.
the score for you, make sure we have it right.
Yeah, I'm seeing my personal score is the Cyclones have 203, and In It to Win It has 128, mainly because of that lost turn, and that's kind of set them back a little bit. And the Z play was just so big.
The
with
Z play was
Cyclones.
huge, 60 points. That eliminated the bingo. I mean,
Right.
it's like almost like you bingoed. It is like, I mean, what's the lowest point bingo you've ever played?
Well, I've definitely played the theoretical lowest bingo
You have?
possible,
Which is
would
56?
be which is a 7-letter word
Right.
with 2 blanks in it that hits absolutely nothing. I've played that. I believe it's maybe 56 or
It's 56, I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
Well, maybe 55.
I guess it could be 55. I don't think I've played at 55.
How could you, I guess you'd have to
You'd have
open
to
with it.
really.
You'd have to open with it. If
really
it was,
miss
'cause you
everything.
can't hang on anything.
Yeah.
I guess
yeah.
if the blank hangs on something. I don't know. I have 57. I know I did 58 rather. I think I
Right.
did 58.
Either way, if
it's
you're getting,
frustrating as can be when you do that.
But
you
you
hit
know
a bingo
what?
and you get no points.
But you know what? 58 is you would take 58 in a heartbeat.
Of course.
For a normal play.
Right.
So you got to think of it that way.
Now this is interesting. They got rid of the J, but early in the game, there are O's galore available, and
Yeah, interesting.
you can put an N or a W under FE and grab some points in both
Right.
directions.
In a vacuum, I certainly like that play. Of course, you could always put the S on it if you know boxing's is good. Which,
Right.
I mean, who can know that for sure? It's very difficult to
Will
know.
Anderson knows.
Well-
I'm going to get a shirt that says Will Anderson knows
Well, I don't need that shirt because that's me.
because he knows.
Um,
Aura and aura. Look at that. Depending on if you have
Nice.
an accent, you might pronounce those words differently.
Very nice.
But you see two. That'd be a homophone. a homophone. We've learned what a gerund is and what a homophone is.
That's right. A very instructive game.
We've learned what a gerund is and what a homophone is.
That's right. A very instructive game.
That's right.
I think as far as, if they're not going to bingo on that turn, which I only spotted one very obscure one, I like that play there to get the U out, undouble the R's, and just keep that RS blank combo, which unfortunately they drew
Well,
only
they've got
consonants.
screws with a blank.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
screw, I don't know.
There might be something here.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll look at in it, twin it.
In it, twin it.
And
They have drawn very poorly to their, I think they just left DUNS.
Yeah, they didn't get much help.
They drew LNV. That's just not very good. It's not helpful. It's through no fault of their own. They have a tough situation here. So let's see how they handle it.
They had something on the board, but picked it up as one of our players looked off to his left.
I like
That's
those
something.
glasses.
Sharp.
Kind of the rec specs look from the late 80s, early 90s NBA. Vid, that's okay.
Short for video, of course.
Sure, nice to use more letters if you can, but they are trying to hold on to that one vowel that they have at all costs.
Unfortunately, that vowel is U,
Yeah.
with all the vowels you're going to get, and they didn't get any help with it.
Yeah. That's
But let's
tough.
move over to the Cyclones.
So they have, I wonder if they had anything through that I. Oh, wow. They have the word escrows for like 1,000,000 points, but that's a very
On fee and
tough
it's.
one. Yeah. I think it would be totally fine failing that play and just, if they fail to find that play, there's a number of other plays where they're just trying to keep that E and R together as best they can. So
It's difficult, though. You have the ERS, you even got another S. You got to be thinking there's a bingo there. And then, now they do have, you see, screws.
that's just a tough one. though.
Yeah.
Really
And the
tough.
moment that you get that in your head, unraveling it to escrows, which is not very common, but gettable. I mean, it's a gettable word.
Yeah, it's a word that is more normal than some that you've seen already today. So,
And
I'm even okay with a play like just SEW, so underneath aura. I don't see a problem with that. So here's the thing: they can.
they're going to play screws to the.
Oh,
to
you
the
know
triple.
what? Obviously, that's good. Of
So
course, I
the-
totally spaced on that. What a nice play. If you're not, if you're not going to bingo, score, 50 points or whatever that is.
And
Perfect.
what do they have left?
They've
The
got
blank.
that blank left, so of course,
So
that's an excellent play.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14 times 3 is 42, 45 points, and you're left with the blank. In
Yeah,
the
we like
meantime,
that
In a
play.
Twin It, which came out of the game with an
Roaring.
explosion of a bingo on their first turn, has really slowed down and really had the disadvantage of coming up with some rotten letters. They only have one vowel. They only had one vowel before, and it's a U. Now, if you're going to have a U, they've got lung, rung, slung, lungs.
I mean, I guess they can play lung underneath aura, leaving with AL, and that leaves NRS.
What
Can't
about
do much.
flung and oral?
Uh,
Would you do that?
Where's?
Oh no, there's that's a blank, not a. I
Oh,
thought that F.
oh,
was,
yeah,
I thought that
if-
F was floating
Sure,
on
if
its
that
own. Yeah.
E of boasted wasn't there,
Yeah,
that'd
yeah,
be great.
yeah. I'll make things up. So they're going to play rungs.
Okay, there's rungs.
Now, it may not be worth a lot of points. It did open up the board in a big way. And of course, that U sits out there. The Q is still available, so that could open up an opportunity should that become necessary. The
So-
Cyclones have the word thump with a U and a blank. No, of course, the U is used in thump. It's thump with an N and a blank.
Oh wow! If they see it,
Unthump?
I've just spotted. So I haven't really been looking in this spot, but if they can just think to look in that top right corner through the C, they can play a ton of words hooking when, if they know it, W-E-N. I think
Right.
that's like a sore.
It's
or
a
rat.
wart on a witch's
A
nose.
wart on it. Okay, there you have
It
it.
is.
But something like punch or munch up there would score a lot.
And they look like they're kind of looking in that
I feel like they're
area.
looking there. Yeah, let's see.
And then again, we talked about forgetting that area, so it was sort of a dead
well,
area.
as I said, I forgot about it.
Yeah. Well, now they seem to have moved on to something else.
Yeah, let's see what they come up with. Oh, of course they can play something with a T there too, with wet. I guess much is a word. I'm not sure I even know that one. That's kind of tricky. I know everybody knows punch. So let's see.
Well, oh no, I guess they
Okay,
didn't go there at all. But
all
they
right, that's okay. That's got some good qualities to commend it. Doesn't use up their one vowel. It scores a solid amount of points, and best of all, it kind of blocks. So swap, S-W-O-P, is a word
good,
that
yeah.
maybe they knew that was good, and they saw screws come down. You know, the S. There's a good chance that they had a blank or an S with that. They were saving it for that spot. Who knows?
Now, HM is a word.
Oh boy.
HM, one of those words that helps you, doesn't use a vowel, and emulace.
Interesting. So that makes S-H-E-R, sure. I can tell you that's not valid.
And what about
Emulace is also not valid, but it looks a lot like the word emulace with an I.
Well, now, see, here's what's interesting there. When you challenge, you don't just challenge one word.
You put everything.
You challenge every word that's on that play. So they would be challenging
Well,
emulace.
it's your option to do that. You have to exercise
yes,
that.
You've got to challenge, and you might as well do it, especially.
Of course.
So they'd be challenging emulace, they'd be challenging share, and they'd be challenging M-E-M, which of all the words that they just put down is the only word. And I don't believe it's been challenged.
Wow. Oh, that is a heavy.
Now, it's not a bingo.
Bingo.
It
Sure
is,
it is.
Oh, it is a bingo. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Yes.
it surely
yeah,
is,
there was,
and it is a
they
heavy
had,
hitter.
They had only opened up that HM on the last turn.
Are we sure they're not holding? Maybe they are.
Well, they've drawn letters, and once the letters hit the rack, usually that's an indication that we've moved forward.
That's true. That is true.
So, now this may be a
Wow.
question where the Cyclones were just so focused on their own letters, which are U-N-P-I-N-T with a blank, they didn't even bother looking or spending too much time considering that as a bingo.
And what are they?
Interesting.
gonna
Emulace,
do
you
here?
might unpint.
Unpints.
Unpints.
Interesting.
Unpints. I guess if you drink.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so we've seen now that In It to Win It just made a very bold bluff of a phony that stayed on the board. Now, the Cyclones are
Done the
returning the
same.
favor. Can In It to Win It?
And oh, look at that! What a swing!
Wow.
What a swing!
Wow.
If you drink a beer,
You've
you
unpinted
it.
your
Yeah,
glass.
That's right. That's right.
Unpint.
Okay, so now the hands go up, and that means the officials will come on over. They'll look at the word. They'll officially put it through the process of judging. It will be considered wrong, and it will come off the board, which is really an amazing turn of events for the Cyclones.
Now, for In It to Win It.
Well, for both of them.
Well,
yeah,
for both.
yeah.
Yeah, for both, of course. But
Going back to the emulace situation, I almost can understand emulace not knowing that, but share, S-H-E-R, usually those four-letter words are the ones that people know.
surprising.
Common. Again, I tell a lot of my own stories because really it's about me. But one time I played with a very common three-letter word that was played against me. I just didn't know it. Just hadn't heard of it.
Sure.
And I couldn't understand for the life of me, it wasn't where it's played for a lot of points, why somebody would even play that. I did challenge it. It turns out it was a real word. But those are the words that are really going to get you. Got to know those two letters and those three-letter words because while emulace may be right, may be wrong, you don't know. Maybe it's a bingo you didn't know. If you knew that S-H-E-R was, you could almost get a free challenge on the bigger word.
Right.
And when the challenge comes back, by the way, you don't know which word was incorrect.
Sure, it just tells you that
That's
the play
in
is
itself.
invalid. It doesn't
Right.
tell you that the play is invalid because X word was not valid.
So unpints
can,
comes off the board. Is our score correct? It looks as if
Yes.
we've got the same score that you see on the screen.
That's right.
283 for the Cyclones. In it, twin it, which was
Losing
almost
by
left for
over
dead.
100, yeah, over 100 is now
is
right back
poised
in
to take
it
the lead.
with a chance to lead and a nice play here. Great
And
play.
you see rookie.
Great play.
the
They
K-
had 3 O's and one consonant, and they turned that into a nice score of a little bit over 20 points, or sorry, exactly 20 points.
20 points,
And now they've got a small lead.
And they've got the lead. Plus, I'm not sure if they were really looking this way, but the unpints is not a very strong rack, especially when that blank was the S. So they're not likely to be able to do too much with it. Punting actually would be a bingo
Punting,
that could
yeah.
go someplace.
Yeah. They actually have the absolutely beautiful bingo of gunpoint down to the G of rungs.
That's tough.
That it would be absolutely ridiculous to find that, but I'm expecting them to play something like pint underneath rookie. That scores a nice amount. Okay,
No.
let's see.
They got the T there. Yep, that's exactly what they're going to do.
Okay, down comes pint, and they keep UN blank, which if I'm in it to win it right now, I am blocking that line where they played unpints as fast as I can. And they've got a great play to do just
QAID?
that. Yeah, they've got a great play to do that. So I am expecting them to play QAID, Cade there, and that will take care of that partially,
Now
but
there's-
not completely. Still can
And we
possibly
talk about
fit
the value of two-letter words. Look what
Pint got
look
him
what
a
they yeah.
ton.
They got pint, they got op, they got is it chi or key, K-I, I-N, and E-T. And there is the word we talked about,
Good job.
QAID. First time we've seen it. And it's a
Yeah.
very common word in Scrabble because, of course, it's one of those valuable Q words that does not
Yes.
require a U.
A
and
civil
of course,
judge in a Muslim country.
and you can go the other,
Cade.
and you can go QADI also, is also
Correct,
a valid
which
word.
is a
different word.
synonym. They're synonyms.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
I did not know that. We've learned what synonyms are. Gerunds.
Gerunds and homonyms.
And homophone.
Homophones. That's right.
Homophones.
My mistake.
In any case, getting away from grammar and back to Scrabble, because the two usually have nothing in
Nothing
common
to do with
whatsoever.
each other. What? Yeah, absolutely.
So,
So.
In it to win it
Oh boy.
completely turned this game around.
And
We've
are
seen,
in.
we've seen a couple. This happen a couple times with some phonies that got the board, got on the board, and I've said it a number of times. Three things can happen when you play a phony, and two of them are good.
Yeah, and certainly that is in huge and large part the reason that they are in the lead and somewhat in command. Of course, if you think about it, from In It to Win It's perspective, they know that the Cyclones have the blank. They don't have to worry about drawing it themselves or worrying about drawing it. They know that the Cyclones have it and that they need to defend against it at all costs. So they're looking at the board here, and I think their sole focus, well, I know that the Cyclones are playing now, but In It to Win It is sitting back and waiting to see what the Cyclones do, hoping they don't bingo. And if they don't, they're saying, how can we stop them from getting that blank bingo down on the board? And the trick is it going to come from the G of rungs? Is it going to come from the M of fem? Or is it going to come underneath Cade making chi, QI?
Well, they see that there are, if you're from In It to Win It's perspective, there are 3 eyes available.
Sure.
2 in the bag.
So they've got to be careful.
So they've got to assume they have one.
Right.
There's only
The problem
4, 6, 8.
how do
There's
they
only
block?
10. There's only they may not be able to. They may
That's
have to just
tough.
jam up other letters or jam up
Very
other words
tough.
around it.
Yeah, it's tough to block. So it's going to be tough. First of all, let's see what the Cyclones have.
Sanguine, is that going to play anywhere? That won't
Oh,
fit.
interesting.
Won't fit. They would need an S or a
Right. I'm just trying to see if there's a 7-letter word. Like it's so close. They're so close to several of them.
Well, and the interesting thing is also they have an I and an N where they could put that underneath the Q and the I, the Q and the A. It's not going to fit though. It's not. It doesn't appear as if there's going to be anything that's going to work for them. So maybe they look to just play something off and go for it next time, but not. They're going to do it here and play gain, G-A-I-N. There is 1 A left.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, doing a bit of a gamble that the other team doesn't have it, but guess what? The other team doesn't have it.
Yeah, but they may be happy to see that because it's going to be very
It's going to leave
difficult.
the M open. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for them now, whereas if they had managed to play somewhere else, I know there's not a great, okay, back down quickly comes Hog, like that play, scores well, keeps that pressure on, and it blocks
knocks
the G.
out that G.
So nice idea there. And following along,
Now,
so there are
there's got to be
bingos.
something.
Minutely, I'm seeing.
Oh, you're instantly going to that M.
From
yeah.
that M. It's going to be tough, though. Let's see. I'm not sure if that's all. It's going to be a hard find. Yeah, that's tricky for sure. Let's see what they opt to do. They aren't necessarily in need of a bingo for sure, but it's looking more and more like oh, Looniest, okay.
Looniest? With a
Looniest,
U?
yeah, Looniest with a U. I wonder if they know this, studying high probability words. It fits beautifully right underneath gain, making G,
Right.
A-E,
Oh, wow.
cheese, and ant. Now that would be spectacular, making 4 extensions to words on the board.
Plus, using all 7 letters at this point in the game,
Yeah,
really
just-
putting the pressure on your opponents to do something.
Oh, if they see that clinches it for them. I think it's just way too many points. But
So they're
okay,
gonna
they're going
count.
to check. They're going to see how many letters are left.
There are 4,
how many
which
can
means
we play?
which means they can't trade in anything, but they want to make sure they give themselves an opportunity to bingo on the next turn if they're not able to bingo here. So they don't want to play more than 4 letters.
Exactly.
And if they look at what those letters are, from their perspective, put yourself in the Cyclone's head here. M-A-I-T, we know those are the 4 letters. But then an E and a D, another E, and
Yeah.
L. So some good letters there. Some
Right.
good letters. In fact, the Y is really the only lousy one in the bunch.
And even that goes very well with an L.
If you have an L, and they do have an L.
So if they keep that L, thinking the worst that can happen is we draw a Y and we bingo with something ending in Y, as it turns out, they have a bingo right now playable from the M if they think to make their blank a Y minutely. So that's a very, very difficult find. If they find it, I'll be thrilled for them.
Would you tip your hat to them?
I would. I should
don't
have
have
worn
a
a hat.
hat,
I
yes.
keep saying that. Next time I'll have to bring a hat. But I really, if the Cyclones find that, my hat is off to them. If In It to Win It holds on to win this game, great job by them to take a risk at the right time and get away with the phony and win the challenge that's put them in command. So very nice performance so far.
Again, we see the advantage of holding on to some time for later in the game, but not just that, using it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we see players go so quickly and they've got all this time.
Yeah.
It's not like you can exchange it at the end for
Yeah, these
cash
guys-
or anything like that.
Yeah, and really the problem here is twofold. One is they're looking hard for bingos. I know that. They're shuffling their letters, and then, okay, they've made a play. If you can't find a bingo, what's the best play that ensures I can
Right.
bingo next turn? So you're doing 2 very different tasks on this turn. They've decided to forego trying to bingo, and
looks like they're gonna
gonna
play gut.
play gut.
All right, now that's interesting because they have an N. They know the N can hang on top of that U. They have an I and an E that can go after it. That's not going to get them a bingo unless they get that A that can go in front of
Again,
again.
yeah.
And they are going to get it, but
Oh, tough
unfortunately,
draw.
well, Alien with an I and a blank.
Oh, they have a new bingo from the N of Monilii. They have mainline. They've got a couple of bingos from the M. Those are going to be very, very difficult, though. In It to Win It is sitting in command of the game.
And they're going to play.
They block.
They
Good
block that
play.
toid.
Love that play.
Nice play. They leave themselves an OLE. They should be able to go out in 2, as we talked about,
And now
go out on their next turn.
The Cyclones
But in the
have
meantime, the
to-
Cyclones are going to take a lot of time here to do what they can.
They got to buckle down and try something here. They must know that they are going to have to bingo from the M here. They've got a couple of plays, like the ones I pointed out. There's one more that I didn't point out before, My Legion, but that's a very difficult one.
And look at that main line. Mainline.
Incredible.
They found the bingo.
Incredible.
And they're going to bingo out. Is that going to do it?
Wow. Tremendous find.
Now that'll probably be challenged, of course. There's no reason not to because that's the end of the bag.
Do we think they called it a K, or I mean, is
we
there
don't
any
know.
chance that they did not call that an N? If they have played mainline, they've just won the game, and
Now, is there
absolutely,
anything left in the bag or no?
that would be an
There's
out
nothing left
bingo,
in the bag.
ending the game, a walk-off. You see that he's holding his hands, looking up, he's praying it's good. He's praying the word is good.
We don't know if it's mainline, which is a word,
Or
main like. And my theory of put like at the end of anything, I hope they haven't
It
been listening
won't
to
be-
me.
it won't
I
be
hope
correct.
they haven't been listening to me. Yes. And
Let's see.
we don't know. We don't know what it's going to be. If they're adding up their scores, it looks as if
It looks like they
that
played
is a
mainline.
walk-off bingo.
Oh,
An
incredible.
amazing play by the Cyclones. We have seen amazing Scrabble play all day long. 6 rounds,
That's great.
back and forth, and what a way to end day one.
Yeah, that
with
is
the Cyclones
tough.
at the top of the leaderboard, I'm assuming, having an opportunity to and really perfect Scrabble play, not because they let the bingos go by, not because they missed some possible bingos like on the last one, but because they kept their wits about them. They set that bingo up. They earned that win,
Yeah.
and what an opportunity to take advantage of. Congratulations to the Cyclones. In its win, it played a perfect game
Tremendous.
from their
Yeah,
side.
tremendous.
They had to take a shot with some bingos. It went through.
Incredible.
They got by. Unbelievable. What a way to
amazing.
end our first day.
Yeah.
We hope you'll be with us tomorrow because it's going to be even more exciting as we move closer and closer to that grand finale, which will take place tomorrow afternoon. We hope you'll be with us. We know you will. Join us here once again tomorrow. Until then, we'll see you next time.